just about set. There you go. So what we do here is we practice connecting body, breath, and mind through a practice, the practice of yoga, some grounding meditations, and then I bring in some functional movements and physical therapy, some like concepts from physical therapy. I'm not a physical therapist, like legally I think I had to say that. Some primal movements, some dance for mobility and flexibility. And that'll be like the center part of our class, about 50-55 minutes of movement. And we'll start with about 10 minutes of grounding and breath work. We'll end with a nice long Savasana as well, which is a reclining guided meditation. So let's get started. Seated nice and tall. You can sit cross-legged on the floor. That's the way I prefer to sit. In Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. If this doesn't feel easy to you, you might sit up on a block or on that folded blanket to get your hips higher than your knees. If this just feels awful for your knees in general to have your legs cross-legged like this, then don't sit like this. It's not mandatory. You can always be sitting in a chair. Everything that I lead you through is an invitation. Don't feel like it has to look any specific type of way. It's more important to me that your body feels good stepping off the mat than it looks good on the mat, right? And like whatever good looks like. It's your body. You want to press into your edges, and they're going to look different than my edges. Yeah? Okay. So we'll come to a nice comfortable seated position, nice and tall in the spine. Heart comes over hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap. Either palms down to ground down or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give. And go ahead and silence your devices. Eyes can close or lower to a soft gaze just beyond your legs if that's more comfortable for you. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and out through the mouth, shoulders drop with an audible sigh. Allow the breathing to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Returning to a natural pace. We'll just take a moment here to arrive. We'll let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Perhaps the sound of passing traffic or singing birds outside the window. Or the sound of a pet or a roommate shuffling somewhere else in the apartment. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into these places that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. And we'll shift that awareness from the body, Anamaya Kosha, to the energetic level, the breath level, Pranamaya Kosha. And just notice energetically where you're at in this moment on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready for bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. And shift that noticing to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space, whatever holding in between. And we'll shift the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha, allowing thoughts and feelings to arise freely. But no need to engage with them, just observe these thoughts and feelings from a distance. Like a movie being projected onto a screen. The storyline, the drama, it all goes on without our direct participation. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or negative tilt to them? Are they feeling solid and assured, self-righteous? Or nervous, anxious, scattered? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, no better, no worse. Just something to notice. We'll bring the attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air, and every exhale lets something more go. Inhale fills belly like a balloon, expanding, inflating. Ribs fill up as well, expanding out to the sides. And exhale, zip the ribs in, and belly button pulls in towards spine, using some muscular strength here. So we're actively expunging all that air, complete exhalation. Inhaling through the nose, letting the belly fill, diaphragm drop, making space for the air in the lungs to inflate. Exhale, squeezing all of it out. Also through the nose, in and out through the nose completely, if that's available to you. Allowing space between top and bottom teeth, the jaw hangs heavy, tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. We'll begin our pranayama, our breathing technique that we've been working on all February. And it's called equal parts breathing. So we're going to inhale for the same length that we exhale. And your next inhale, you begin to count 2, 3, 4, 5. Just silently in your own head, to your own beat, your own rhythm, until you get to the very tip top of the breath where you can't fit in any more air. There's nothing left to inhale. Whatever number that might be, 6 or 17, you exhale for the same number. Inhale for 17, exhale for 17. Matching. We're going for long, deep breaths. Nice and slow. And if the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, back to your counting, and back to the body, focusing on using the muscles of the abdomen, of the belly, to help deepen the breath. And the next time you exhale, no rush to get there, just releasing any counting or effort from the breath. Returning to a natural pace, perhaps affected by that pranayama, that exercise. We'll invite our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and the thumbs pressed into the sternum. Here we'll consider setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be the sankalpa, the heart's desire you've been working with all year, or something new might inspire you. The invitation here is just to state it in the present and the affirmative. So, say it's a character trait you're trying to cultivate, so health or flexibility, patience. It would sound like, I am patient, or I am flexible, I am healing, I am healthy. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me. First, a cleansing breath. Allow the hands to release to the lap, chin drops towards chest. And then inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear towards the left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side. So two things often come up when people find out that I teach yoga or meditate. They're like, when it comes to meditation, conversation looks something like this. Well, like, let the head come up through center. Maybe this is a conversation you also have with yourself. So we're just going to roll the shoulders forward. And it's either I can't quiet my thoughts. It's like it's so loud in there. So every time I meditate, I'm not meditating. It's just like loud. Or it's so boring. So it's like kind of like two sides of like the same coin, I think. So just rolling the shoulders forward, opening up the space in the upper back, the space between the shoulder blades. And for everyone out there that's like, it's so loud in there, it's just like 3 different radio stations going at the same time. It doesn't mean that you're not meditating. Like, it's more about like you're never gonna get to a place where you can like still your thoughts and quiet your mind if you don't get through all like the muddy beginning foundation work of just learning to sit with your thoughts. Now we're gonna roll the shoulders back. So loud or messy or mean or negative or whatever as they may be, confusing as they may be, nonsensical even. We just get to kind of learn to sit with them, and like you can call it meditating, you can not call it meditating, you could just call it sitting with your thoughts. I think that's kind of a nice way of putting it, because you're not like attempting to achieve enlightenment or anything. Like your why is important, like maybe you're just trying to de-stress or kind of help cope with anxieties, kind of like how I got into it, versus like trying to reach a state of nirvana, which is like pretty tall order, you know. Hi, bud. Okay, coming to stillness in the shoulders. We'll inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, bend over to the right. Left arm reaches over. Oh, okay. Yep. Inhale up through center and exhale over to the left. So, yeah, basically, sorry, I got really distracted because there's like a bunch of dogs in the room now. But, oh yeah, about thoughts and not being able to concentrate. What I'm trying to say, sitting right on my lap, okay, is that it's okay that you have a bunch of thoughts running through your head. It doesn't make you a bad person or a bad yogi or lesser than or anything like that at all. It's completely normal. And the next time we come up through center, we'll just twist it over to the right. Left hand lands on the right knee, chest opening towards the side wall. Inhales back up through center and exhale over to the left. Just connecting the breath with the movement here, inhaling to rise and exhaling to twist. So having a head full of thoughts can feel really inconvenient, but you know, really like the only time our head's going to be completely clear of thoughts is probably when we're dead. So, you know, it's about learning to observe those thoughts from a distance, not identify with them like, oh, I'm having negative thoughts, I'm a negative person, like letting that go, and just learning to begin to concentrate after. So why do we just observe the thoughts freely every morning and just let whatever show up, show up? Next time the arms come up, we're just going to bend the elbows, hands come to ear height, wave the hands, because we just want to see what's going on up there. And just for the sake of observing, just to see what's going on, not about judging good or bad. Observation without judgment is the goal here. And then after that, what do? We work on our pranayama, our breathing technique. Palms face down, fingers wiggle side to side. Don't move the elbows, just warming up the wrists, the hands, the tendons, the ligaments within them. Then we work on our pranayama, so we're focusing the mind on the breath, dharana. So we're focusing the mind on one thing. So we practice that after giving the mind a little space to just play around and talk to you about whatever episode of whatever show or whatever to-do list item you have to do, whatever shows up for you. And I'm like, just let your mind, wander. We just let ourselves see that, and then we begin to practice the skill of focus. So we're going to flip the palms over. And according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, that's still not meditation. Dhyana more so is, and that's like clearing the mind. So dharana is just observing one thing. So focusing on a candle burning down, focusing on your breath, focusing on an intention or a mantra. Dharana. And then the next level, if you will, is dhyana, and that is proper meditation, proper meditation. But he did write the book about it, so credit where credit's due. All right, shake off water, nice and gentle. There she goes. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So today we're working on legs and back would be good too. All right, cool, awesome. So let's extend the legs out in front, spread and scrunch the toes, roll out the ankles. So we need to warm up the lower legs here. Change directions. Bend in the knees, feet come flat, feet nice and wide. Just drop the knees side to side. So we have more or less the same warm-up every single morning. Today's day 57, maybe 58. Today might be class 58. But the same warm-up every day with very, very small variations. Why? Because I would love for you guys to kind of like have this a little bit memorized. It's just this head to toe, like really easy warm-up that you don't need to use just for warming up for yoga. You could just do it in the mornings even when you don't have time for a 75-minute class, right? All right, we'll just let the knees fall over to the right. Right hand lands on the ground close to your hip, and the left arm sweeps open. We're lifting the hips and the chest up. And just like the chest is lifting, we just got 3 back strokes with the left arm. It's really getting into that shoulder. Let the hips touch down and the knees fall over to the left. Left hand close to the left hip. Right arm sweeps up as the hips and chest rise. 3 back strokes with the right arm. And you can be on your mat. I know I'm always like on the floor and I'm like rarely on my mat. It's just like a bad habit, but your knees should be on the mat or like on some cushions so that you're not like up against the hardwood floor. So now we're just gonna wave side to side, connecting breath with the movement. So inhale sweeps you open. Exhale touches the hips down. Bring it to the other side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, sweep. And switch. Inhale, rise and lift. Connecting the speed of your body to the length of your breath. So you get to slow the breath down to keep the body moving intentionally. We've just got 1 more to each side. And then we'll just let both knees come to the right and hands come down to frame the right knee, coming into tabletop pose. Sip of water since I'm like yelling. Better? Better. Okay. So, tabletop pose. Hands are below shoulders, knees are below hips. Inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling round in the spine, chin tucks towards chest for cat. Me inhale, I'm pressing my hands down and back, knees down and forward, like I'm trying to scrunch the mat together to get better leverage for a deeper arch in my spine. On the exhale, I'm pressing the ground down and away, knees down and back to get a better rounding in the spine. Not better, but deeper. And once again, I'm calibrating the speed of my body with the length of my breath. So that most of the time is spent in transit, and I'm only at either edge of the postures for that split-second moment of holding in between inhale and exhale. In between exhale and inhale. And we'll return it back to regular tabletop pose. And turn the hands out to 3 and 9 o'clock. It's a kid's show. Alright, so 3 and 9 o'clock. And you can still be underneath the shoulders. And we're going to start to just bring the weight left and right, over the right hand and over the left hand, really slowly. You want to keep the palms on the ground. You can bring them a little bit closer. It's like a little bit more challenging if you feel like you've got the flexibility, or keep the hands further away from one another. The palms never leave the ground, and my fingers are spread wide, pressing into the ground as well. So we're just working on some wrist resiliency here. And I've said this before, but the first time I was introduced to like all this wrist work was in yoga like 15 years ago. Yeah, like 15 years ago, 14, 15 years ago. And then it was brought up again when I was pole dancing like after college. And then again last year when I made friends with this like desert shaman guy who was into functional movement. So it's just like shown up in my life time and time again, and I think it makes sense since I'm an illustrator and I spend a lot of time drawing that wrist resiliency would show up by so many different names, but all the techniques are the same. Alright, so we're going to hold it over the left hand, over the right hand. Next time you're over your right hand. So the weight is over this hand. It should be like intense, but it shouldn't take your breath away. So you could be like at an 8 intensity, you're not blacking out, you're not holding your breath. We've got another deep breath here. Then we'll bring it over to the left hand. So now all the weight's on the opposite hand. So breathing into that wrist. So I'm like, when I say breathe into your wrist and you're like, that's stupid. Okay, let me just explain what I mean by that. So it's like a really common thing that we say in yoga that doesn't make any like physiological sense. It's a visualization thing where you're imagining the air coming in through your nose, down your throat, and to the place. So the place that you're stretching. So right now it's that left wrist. Imagine the air swirling around that wrist, and on the exhale, the air leaves, so does like any tension. It's like it sounds silly, but it really does help. All right, let's bring it back to the center. Toes tuck under. We'll sit back on the heels. So I'm stretching out the bottoms of my feet here. Open, you're hurting. There we go. And I'm just going to give the wrists a little bit of movement. Interlace the fingers, like make figure 8s. We call this wrist flossing. Any clicks or cracks, just noticing them. I have lots of clicks and cracks. I don't think it's good, but I'm not going to panic that it's bad or anything either, you know? Just lubricating. So the more we like put pressure and weight and stress on or like intentional stress on the wrist, the more, or like certain joints, the more our body gets the message that we should send synovial fluid there, kind of like lubricate that joint. All right, coming back down, get a nice little foot stretch there, hopefully too. And then we're gonna flip the palms in. So palms turn over. You might do one hand at a time if you're like, whoa, there's no way I could put enough weight, that much weight on this hand to flip the other one over. It's okay, you can just switch halfway through. Fingers are spread wide. And then the next step is to straighten out the arms. So what does that mean? So likely to get into it, you're here. You want your arms to straighten out and then turn forward. So it's almost like you're turning a jar, like opening a jar lid. And the shoulders, the movement's actually in the shoulders. It's a like outward rotation. That. This is the same movement that we want in our downward facing dog. Broadens the upper back and shoulders. So you might just be working on that. You can just be going from bent to straight, bent to straight. If you're like straight, no problem. I can face my arms forward, completely straight. What's next? One option is to be leaning back and bringing it forward. So more dynamic stretching. Sending it back and forward. There's no goal. Like the goal isn't to like get your hips to your heels or anything. The goal is just to find the edge of mobility in your wrists. And if you're like, okay, I've been playing with that, and the next thing to do is to bring your knees further back. So there's more weight. So like what they call these like in like I don't think they're allowed to do this anymore, but in elementary school they'd call these girl push-ups. Yeah, like that. And then after, if you still felt really strong about it, you could tuck your toes under for like a full plank. So you're just adding weight to the wrists. But like I said, there's nowhere to go. There's always another place. From there, you like literally you would just be doing push-ups. And from there, you could do the jumping, like there's always more. So there's no rush. We just got one more breath here. And wherever you're at is super great because it's gonna untuck one hand, and then the other. Toes tuck under, so you can get a little foot stretch in as we sit back. Wherever you are is great because it means that you're here and you've arrived and you're working on it. Right? Like it's better to know. Ignorance is not bliss, my friends. Okay, let's get off the wrists a little bit. But good work there. I know it's tough. Seen grown men cry? Yes, seen grown men cry. So, two. Way we can see what's happening. Okay. So, we're in tabletop. Back into our tabletop pose, and where we're getting off the hands right away. Right foot steps forward. Left toes tuck under. We'll send it up to a low, like a runner's lunge. Right knee over right ankle. We're just gonna bring it forward and back on that back heel. I'm not even pressing the heel down, but I'm pressing it back and down just to get a little bit of a calf stretch here. 2, 1. Let that knee come down. We'll sweep the arms up overhead. You can untuck the back toe. Bring shoulders up over the hips. Still, right knee over right ankle. Deep breath in. Exhale, high twist to the right. So making like the letter T with the top body. Back up through center. Exhale, same side, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot. Left toes tuck under. Right foot steps back. Left foot steps forward. Release the right knee down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Left knee over left ankle. We bring the arms up overhead, or rather the chest up over the hips. You can even bring your hands onto the knee for a little step in between. Deep breath in here. And exhale, high twist to the left. Left arm reaching back behind you, arms like the letter T. Inhale, back up through center. Same side, exhale, twist left. Once more like this, following the breath. Into center, out to twist. Into center. And exhale, hands touch down to the mat. Right toes tuck under, step it up to meet the left foot. We'll heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat so my feet are nice and wide. And then here we're going to bend deep to come into a deep squat and back up. So I'm not even coming all the way to seated. I'm just really bending deep in the knees like a frog. Like frog. So heavy hips, light head. Then light hips, heavy head. Heavy hips, light head. Light hips, heavy head. We just got like 2 more like that. Just warming up the legs. And then we stay up here in our forward fold with wide legs. Maybe the knees still need a little bend in them. A little or a big bend is just fine. Let the head nod yes. Let the head shake no. Grab opposite elbows to create a frame for the head. Give yourself a rock side to side for ragdoll. Coming to stillness, we'll release the hands. Heel toe the feet in towards one another. Big toes come to touch, a little space between the ankles. We'll roll it all the way up to stand. 1 vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Sweet. And we'll turn to face one another. Maybe you are facing me already, but you want the mat this way, like parallel to your screen. So we're facing the long end of the mat. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Fingers interlace, index fingers release. This is called steeple pose. So you're holding your own hand, and then just the index finger releases, keeping the palms together. Keeping the palms together. Big toes are touching. I said that already. Cool. So arms are strong and straight by the ears. Shoulders drop away from the ears. And then just notice there's like a tendency to like pop your butt out here. But you actually want to keep it long and straight. So we're elongating the lower back here. We're going from an anterior tilt to neutral. If your hips were a teacup, right? If your pelvic bone was a teacup, anterior tilt, the T would fall out from the front. Posterior tilt, the T would fall out from the back. You want it right in the middle, no spilling tea. Yeah? So, nice and tall without tilting the spine, deep breath in. And exhale, bend over to the right, hips press out to the left to counterbalance. Ardha Chandrasana. So this is a crescent moon stretch. I'm keeping the right shoulder pressing forward, left shoulder pressing back, keeping the front side body totally open to the long side of the mat. Another deep breath here. And inhale back up through center. Exhale over to the left. Hips press out to the right to counterbalance. Still, my knees are straight. Don't bend in this left knee. It's really tempting, but keep it nice and long. Left shoulder has a tendency to pull back, but instead press it through, opening the chest towards that long side of the mat, side wall. Breathing into all the intercostal muscles, all of these muscles between the ribs and the hip. Last breath here. Inhale, back up through center. Take a big step out with the left foot, with the right foot, and arms come down like the letter T. Heels come in, toes point out, thumbs turn towards the ceiling with thumbs up, fingers spread wide. Pressing into the feet, pressing through the fingertips, through the head, like you're radiating out from every extremity. This is called star pose. It's really just a transition. Deep breath in here, reaching long. And exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows, goddess, Devyasana. So I'm trying to get my knees up over my ankles, my elbows bent too, shoulder blades squeezed together. Almost like you're a hieroglyphic. Or a hieroglyph. A glyph? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like on the sides of the walls and the pyramids on the inside. Like, you know, this is what I do with my kids yoga kids, whenever we're in goddess pose. I could keep them in here much longer because they were entertained. So anyway, we've got one more breath here. See if you got a little deeper bend in the hips. And then we straighten out the legs and the arms. Turn the right toes to face the short end of the mat. Left toes turn to face long end of the mat. I need a little bit more space. I do. You can adjust accordingly. Then hands can come onto the hips. We're dropping the right hip down, letting the left hip pop up. So, right hip drops. You should feel stretched here. Left hip pops up, just like a little teapot. Spout reaches all the way towards the wall in front. And then we're just going to let the side bend here for the bottom hand to come to the inside of the right leg. So the back of my hand is pressing against the calf. The left arm reaches straight to the sky. So once again, my arms are straight out in front of, across from one another, making 180 degrees. Right shoulder is going to want to pull back, but instead we press it forward, pulling the left shoulder back, like you're between two panes of glass. Trikonasana triangle pose. There you go. Why? Because we're creating a triangle, multiple triangles, actually. So you're using that bottom arm and leg as leverage to stay open here. Even if you know in your head that you can bring your hand to the ground, it's not about that. It's about building up that strength in the left side body. We've got one more breath here. You can look up to the top hand for a bit more of a balance challenge. Then bend in the right knee, hands come down to frame the foot. So we were here before, runner's lunge. Then we'll drop the heel down, toes are facing long side of the mat, and turn the right foot towards the long side of the mat as well. So now we're in a deep side squat. And it might look like two things. One way it might look is that the heel is on the ground. Let me just change this a little bit so you can see better. Yeah. One way is that your heel is on the ground. You can turn onto the heel of the side. So right heel is on the ground. Another way it might look is on the tiptoes. And this is going to be like a yogi toe stand. So from the side, I'm sitting on my heels like we were playing with before. We were stretching out the toes. My thighs parallel to the floor. Another way it might look, likely looks, is you came to come down and you're here. And that's cool. So to come down deeper, you just let the foot slide away and come down deeper. But you want to listen to your knees over my voice. Your knee, the information it's giving you about how deep it can stretch is more important than what I am telling you. Just want to repeat that. Okay. So wherever you're at, I like the little balancey version of it because I think it's fun and I think balance is hard and that's why it's fun. If you're in like the balancing version of it, you can bring your hands, try to play with bring them onto the knee or even heart center. We just got one breath here. Then, that extended leg comes in as we come to a deep squat in the center. You can bring your hands down for that transition. So, just like before, heavy hips, light head. I'm trying to get my shoulders up over my hips. Usually it's here, we're here, and we're like feeling stuck here, like how could you sit up? Just think, heavy hips, light head. You can press your elbows into the inside of the knees. Palms pressed together like Anjali Mudra. And then they kind of help leverage, keep the knees open in Malasana, deep squat. My feet, they like naturally want to open out to the sides. I try to bring them in to parallel. They're not quite a parallel, it's more like 45 degrees. But they're kind of like working towards parallel. Not as a hard goal, but as a soft goal, because I don't want to be completely open here. I'll be a little bit more into a traditional squat. Just got one more breath here. And then hands come down to frame the back left foot. Right leg extends back behind you, runner's lunge in this direction. Hands come to the inside of the left foot. Drop the right heel down, so now right toes are facing the long side of the mat. and right arm sweeps open. So an extended side angle. Power press through the front leg to come up to triangle pose just from bottom to top, so coming into in the other direction. So this is a moon salutation, it's cyclical. So what we go into from one direction, we come into once again from the other. It's got one more breath here. Let's bend in the left knee, warrior two. And extend that leg, both toes face out, bend in the knees, goddess. Star pose. Extending arms and legs, hands and feet stuck together. Just fix this. Wow. Cool. All right. That was great. Did great. And now we have another side. Chandra Namaskar. So we're going to roll through that. Big toes come to touch. A little space between the ankles, arms sweep up overhead, fingers interlace, and now switch the interlace. So right now, right finger's on top, bring left finger on top, like goofy grip. It's going to feel awkward. Good. Creating new pathways in your brain every time you use your non-dominant hand for activities. So working our way towards ambidextrous, being ambidextrous. Not really, but being less useless with our non-dominant hand anyway. Deep breath in here, get tall without arching the back. Keep the lower back long and elongated. Deep breath in, exhale over to the right. Nope, to the left. Left. Hips press out to the right, bottom shoulder pressing forward. We want to keep the chest open to the long side of the mat. Just crescent moon stretch in this moon salutation. Back up through center. And exhale over to the right. Hips press out to the left. Right shoulder really pressing forward, left shoulder pressing back. There's no bend in the knees, there's no bend in the elbows. Really strong pose, seemingly simple, a lot going on. Last breath here. Bring it back up through center. Big step out with the legs, with the arms. Heels come in, toes come out. Thumbs towards the sky like a thumbs up, then fingers spread wide. Star pose, deep breath in, reaching wide. Exhale, bend in the knees, bend in the elbows, goddess pose. So this is a really strong pose here. Shoulder blades are squeezing together like there's a pencil being held between them. Knees are over the ankles. Hips are tucking forward to keep the hips open and stable. We'll extend the arms, extend the legs. Right toes turn to face the long side of the mat. Left toes turn to face the short end. Bring a little bit more space. Hands onto hips. Drop the left hip, pop the right hip up. Pop and pop. Spout reaches all the way forward. And it's a little bit, it's actually like the opposite of a side bend. It's like we're elongating the spine. Hand comes down to the inside of the left calf. Right arm towards the sky. And using that leverage to press the left shoulder forward. Pull the right shoulder back. Trikonasana triangle pose. You can look up to the top hand for a bit of a balance challenge. If that's a challenge for you because your neck hurts, not because of the balance, then the trick is to bring the chin in towards the chest and then roll the head up. Like in the very beginning of class how we play. That's going to open up some new spaces in your neck for this posture. Just got one more breath here. Bend in the left knee. Hands come down to frame the foot. Runner's lunge. Then drop the right heel down. Toes face the long side of the mat. Pivot the left toes towards the long side of the mat as well. To come into your Skandasana, deep squat on the side. So if you're here, that's great. You're just working on opening up this area. If you can drop the hips down with the heel down, that's great. The right toes might naturally lift up. Or if you'd like to play with the balance, the toes are tucked under. The thigh is parallel to the ground. Deep toe stretch. So nothing's like better or worse. It's not even about being more advanced or less advanced. It's just two different postures, really, that you have the opportunity to play with. And I don't know, I like both of them, so I just like giving both options. And like I said, I like playing with balance. I think it's good for your brain. I think it's hard, which makes it more fun, more likely to fall out of it. For me, I think that's more fun. And then, you know, once something begins to feel like easy, it can become to feel boring and other thoughts kind of filter in. So I want to stay concentrated on the challenge, physically. So once the legs are really feeling confident, you can start playing around with the arms. We just got one more breath here. We're going to bring the right leg in from Asana. You can also have the hands on the ground for that. Slide it in. Like a little frog on a lily pad, letting the hips be heavy, the heart be light. Heavy hips, light heart. Shoulders are pressing back, trying to get the shoulders up over the hips. You can work on the elbows inside the knees. Give them a couple little openings and closings here. Dynamic stretch before we hold. So we hold the body into positions, but we don't hold the breath. When the breath ends, the pose ends. So we're breathing fully here. Malasana, deep squat. And the hands come down to frame the right foot. Left leg extends back behind you for a runner's lunge. We're here before. Right knee over, right ankle. Hands come to the inside of the right foot and drop the left heel down to the ground, toes face the long side of the mat. Left arm sweeps open, stacking over, right shoulder. Then we're going to power, press through that bottom leg to straighten it out, lifting the torso and the arms to the back of the hands on the calf. Pressing into that leg to leverage the right shoulder forward, pull the left shoulder back for a Trikonasana triangle pose. We came in the opposite direction. So here we are, strong in the legs, strong in the breath. We just got one big breath here. And bend in the right knee, warrior two. Extend both legs straight through star, and bend both through the knees. So heels in, toes out, elbows bent, Devyasana, goddess pose. One big breath here. Extend the arms and legs straight through star, toes face forward, hands and feet step together, and arms release down. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, good job with those moon salutations, Chandra Namaskar. Now we're gonna take an opportunity to shake it out. Shake out any frustration or difficulty, challenge, or negativity you kind of like built up. Maybe during that last sequence, maybe earlier in your day, earlier in your week, whatever it might be. And we're just gonna start giving the whole body a shake here. Shake out the hands and bring a little hop to it. You can just lift the heels and drop them down with soft knees to create that reverberation. Or you can do like a full jump. If you got the space and energy, I think it's more fun, but I'm not into it every day. Today I'm into it. So we're jumping to just let all of the body like literally just jiggle and flop. So there's really nothing wrong that the hands can be doing. We're just letting that impact kind of create this reverberation in the body, this shake. You can breathe in and out through the mouth here, releasing like audible sighs, proven to lower anxiety and stress. So relieving tension in the body by shaking, just like dogs when they're playing and it gets too rough, then they have to reset and they shake it off. Same idea, except we don't really have an opportunity to shake off when our boss says something annoying or somebody on the street says something inflammatory. Like, we don't really get to physically kind of process that, but you do here. Sometimes you don't even remember what you're upset about, and it still lives within your body. In yoga, it's called samskara. These little points, these knots in your back, in your legs, in your hips that live causing blockages in your energy. And yoga is a way to get it out. Asana is a way to get it out. Yoga poses. So here you go. If you feel like stopping, just double time. Hopping like a bunny saves lives with all the sighs. Oh my God, M9 Easy, I've missed you. Hello, my friend. Coming in with the dopest yoga rhymes. All right, so got breath of joy on the docket. So there's a 4-part breath. It's 3 inhalations through the nose, no exhales in between. Booty, hello, my love. And a big ha out through the mouth. Exhalation. So it goes in, ha. And the body looks like this. In, arm sweep forward. In, arm sweep out. In, arm sweep forward. Ha, out. Arm sweep down and back like through chair pose, like you're throwing something behind you. So we've got 10 of those. So it goes in, ha, in, ha, in, ha. Ha! 3 left. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Hand on your heart, hand on your belly, feet come nice and wide. Eyes closed. Let's take a moment here to arrive and observe. Taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. Now we observe to see where that glitter dust settled, what was revealed. What shows up when you let yourself take up space, physically, audibly, when you let yourself yell. When you get out of your own way to exist. And what shows up to stop you, what resistance shows up to stop you from fully participating. Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. Gently blink the eyes open. You might take a sip of water, towel off some sweat. This is a pretty powerful movement practice that we had going on today too. Sip of tea too. I feel like I need to change my tagline to that. Hopping like a bunny saves lives with all the sighs. All right, if you're already on the ground, my friends, you just stay right there. We'll meet you. And if you're not, you can come down with me. Walking to the end of the mat. Ooh, just, okay. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, full body stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground, knees bend deep, 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 so deep Then we come down to seated. You can walk your hands back so you don't land on your tailbone. Okay. Here we are. Let the feet come together, let the knees splay open to the sides like butterfly. It's called Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose in yoga. Give your feet a little bit of a massage. All right, what do I want to do? Kind of want to do something else. Well, okay, we're already here. So let's grab onto the ankles to sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, we'll wave it down. Belly, chest, head. It's like you're trying to get your chest to your toes. With the grip on the ankles, I'm going to use that as leverage to press the knees down towards the ground. My goal for my knees to touch the ground? Like, no. My goal is to find a nice stretch in my hips. Doesn't really matter how far my knees go. If your knees easily touch the ground here, you're not feeling any stretch on your hips at all. Bring your heels in closer to your hips. That's going to change the nature of the stretch. You may be able to feel a nicer stretch here. The shoulders melt away. We've just got one more deep breath here. We'll bring it back up to seated. Bring the knees back up to seated. Scooch forward so there's space behind you. Hands come behind the knees, belly presses up against the thighs, like I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together, almost like a little back bend. I'm going to tilt back till I hit that third point. So I have 3 points of contact on the ground. Left and right sits bones and my tailbone, like a tripod. Deep breath in here, shins are parallel to the ground. And on the exhale, I'm going to release my hands. Urdhva Navasana, upward facing boat pose. Exhale, extend the legs a bit, just opening this angle. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, extend the legs a bit more. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, open up the angle a bit more. Inhale, sustain. Exhale, even more. Just an inch off the ground. Inhale, sustain. And then let it all go. Full body stretch, reaching hands and feet to all four corners of the mat. Awesome work. All right, we're going to roll over onto the belly. Okay. Then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Glute squeeze to press the hips into the ground. Tops of the feet press into the ground nice and strong. Shoelace part of the foot in the ground so hard that the knees lift. And we're going to lift the chest and shoulders. Just using upper back strength. So you might even bring your hands out and back behind you to prove that. Shoulder blades squeeze tight. It's like my fingers are trying to reach my feet, not the ceiling. Going for length. My chest is trying to reach the wall in front of me, not the ceiling. And then ultimately, if your lower back has the space, you can lift the legs as well. And once again, the toes are trying to reach the wall behind you, not the ceiling. Going for length, not height. Shalambhasana, locust pose. Another deep breath here. And out. We'll gently release down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Tops of the feet press strong into the ground. On the inhale, chest and shoulders rise. And now you can use the arms a bit, but we're using them to drag the body forward more so than press it straight up. So I want bends in the elbows. Elbows tighten towards the ribs. Shoulder blades pull back together. Shoulders pull down and back. Squeeze the glutes. That's going to protect the lower back. Tops of the feet press into the ground so hard that the knees might even lift off the ground. Breathing fully here, Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Resist the urge to lock out the elbows. Resist. Instead, we're building up some strength in the triceps here. Deep breath in. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale, left shoulder. Inhale, center. And exhale, bend in the knees. Big toes come to touch, knees come nice and wide. Send the hips back towards the heels, child's pose, arms reaching forward. So even if the hips don't touch the heels, you're still just rounding towards that or pressing towards that. Full breath here. And walk the hands all the way over to the right, keeping the left hip close to the heel. If they started off touching, keep it touching. If it's reaching towards, it's reaching towards. That's fine too. Breathing into this left side of the body, just giving a side bend to the spine. And the left hand might even land on top of the right hand if you feel like that's space in the shoulders. Bring it back through center and tiptoe the hands all the way over to the left. And once again, the right hip, if it was touching the glute, if the right hip was touching the right heel, keep the touch on the right heel. Oh, hello, Yogale. Inhale. How are you, my friend? The Lone Wolf 007. Welcome, welcome, welcome. M9 Easy. Do you have something to do with this? Hype, hype, hype. Welcome, welcome. We're just in a child's pose side bend. That's not the official name, but that's the best way I can describe this. Welcome in, my friends. How was your class? And go one more deep breath here, breathing into these side ribs. Bring it back through center. And you're just going to roll forward and roll onto your back. Hola, hola. Greetings from Germany again. Hello. I don't know. I know how to say. What do I even know how to say? Danke and bitte. I think that's all I got in German. I apologize, but knees come in. Give it a little rock side to side. So how's yoga in Germany going? What were you guys doing yoga? Guten Tag. Thank you. Thank you, Bodhi, with the assist. So just giving the lower back a little bit of a massage here. Oh yeah, it's time. It's time. Okay. So we're going to just bring the knees gently over to the right. Right hand lands on top of left knee. Left arm opens up like the letter T. We're pressing the shoulder down towards the ground. Otherwise, the whole body's relaxed. We're just using gravity really to do the work here. Just the shoulder pressing towards the earth is the effort here. And the head might even look over towards the left hand to complete the spinal twist. Supta Matsyendrasana spinal twist. We'll bring the head back up through center. Bring the knees back up through center. And knees gently come over to the left. So we're stacking right hip over left hip. And the right arm opens up like the letter T. We're pressing the shoulder down towards the ground. Arms not up by the head, not down by the hips. Straight out 180 degrees. And the head might look over, turning over, looking over the right shoulder, the right fingertips. Or a complete spinal twist, Supta Matsyendrasana, supine spinal twist. So a simple pose like this can really help to reduce lower back pain, alleviate some of the effects of sciatica. It's also just a nice way for the spine to cool down after all of the effort and work it put in the beginning of class. We'll bring the head back through center, bring the knees back through center. the knees hug in. Notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or pose that your body's asking for as we prepare for Savasana? So all class we tell our body what to do, all day really. Now we just ask back, is there anything that we could do back for it? It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. It can really be a wiggle or just a stretch without a name. I just kind of let myself move intuitively. I think we spoke a couple days ago on stream about meditation and movement. So just letting your body kind of like intuitively move or like dance or however is gonna like feel good for it. And in the beginning can feel really weird, like, what? I came here for you to tell me what to do with my body? Like, why are you telling me to just do whatever? But I think this was a really important part of class. Sometimes our body's just like, I just want to lay down, and that's totally valid. I did that for like a year and a half, where I just would just like lay down and like, well, I'm ready for Savasana. And that's what I know I want. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's what my body wanted. I mean, my body always wants Savasana, who doesn't? But once I let go a little bit about looking good or doing it right or something, I was able to really enjoy this part of class a lot more. Not worrying about the names of stuff and if I'm even going into a pose or not. Not to have been able to like make a bunch of my sequences just through this practice, just moving my body in the way that is going to feel good. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of like this pose, it's kind of like that pose. Maybe tomorrow I'll lead a sequence that has some of that movement in it. But never with that goal. If that happens, great. Usually I'm just like wiggling around like a weirdo. And now I've brought you into it, so welcome. So, there's a couple more moments of that. If you're like doing a twist or something on one side, just even it out for the other as we prepare for a Savasana final relaxation pose. So you might take that blanket, if you didn't bring one, it's okay, but a sweater or blanket to put over the body, or sometimes even just over the hips. Like if you get cold, I put the blanket over my whole body, I get cold. But even just over the hips can be really nice, feel really grounding over the hips and thighs. Feet land at least a foot apart, legs so relaxed that they naturally splay open to the sides. I like tucking my shoulders under, like my shoulder blades tuck underneath to help support my chest, and arms land maybe 6 inches from the body, palms face open, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the benefits of your effort here today. Head comes neutral. Eyes closed if that's comfortable, if not a soft gaze towards the ceiling ahead of you. If laying like this brings any pain to your lower back, you can just bend the knees deep, deep. Feet come super wide and let the knees fall in towards one another. Broken bridge. And I lift the hips, little tuck in the hips to elongate the lower back and let the hips press down. And that's just held together by gravity, not putting any like muscular energy towards it at all. But traditionally it is with the legs down the length of the mat. I'm going to come up to seated to better lead you through this next meditation, but you stay laying down while I play some bowls for you. So why do we even do Savasana? Savasana is all about integrating the effort of your day, the effort of class. So it's not just a short-term memory thing that happened, but it's like building those long-term memory, like deep learned patterns. So we'll start here where we started our last grounding practice, and that's with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And this time the shoulders just stay relaxed and away. And let the breathing continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting the exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Every exhale sinks you deeper and heavier into the ground below you. Space between top and bottom teeth. And the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, a symbol of chitta vritti, monkey mind. And just inviting that monkey to sit this one out. Jaw relaxes, all the muscles around the lips and cheeks relax as well. Nose and nostrils are resting, just gently allowing breath to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets, eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. The muscles surrounding the ears with all their wrinkles and folds all the way down into the ear canals rest. Muscles surrounding the head, crown of the head, back of the head, hairline, all relax. Whole head rests heavy, supported by the ground below. Neck and throat release. Shoulders melt away. Upper arms and elbows relax. Forearms and wrists release. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, fingernail beds. Whole hands alive with the vibration. Whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that we practice. Upper back, shoulder blades, middle and lower back. Relax and rest heavy, supported by the earth below. Chest and belly naturally rise and fall with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, hips, rest heavy, supported by the ground below. Thighs and knees melt away. Lower legs and ankles relax. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes relax. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Notice if in your mind, if even for just one moment, there was silence in that inner dialogue. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. As you allow your inhalations to deepen and become longer than your exhalations. And that feeling of heaviness and sinking replaced with a feeling of openness and expansion, attention towards the surface, front side of the body. As fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. Allow your head to gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Allow your knees to bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position, fully relaxed and fully supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class, or take this opportunity to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on Chandra Namaskar, our moon salutations in honor of the incoming full moon, as well as wrist resiliency and some extra spinal work as well. We did quite a bit today. So first namaste is said silently, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to one another, to everyone that held space for this practice. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. Your presence, your energy makes a difference to the collective, and I hope you found something that serves you. whether it be in some word or some wiggle. Happy Saturday, happy full moon, namaste Bodhi, namaste Papa Mario. Thank you Yogel for rating me. Hello new friends. M9 Easy, so great to see you. How's everyone feeling? That was probably like the most. How's the owl going? Ooh, do you guys want to see? Do you want to see like the latest commission I just finished? I haven't even posted it on Instagram yet. Hold on. Okay. Wait, it's like super washed out, but you can kind of see it. Like? Feels better. Good, good, I'm glad. So yeah, little barn owl watercolor, but I love it. Oh, good, I'm glad. And then this is like the background for it, but I just like digitally put it together, so we'll just paint in watercolor. But this guy goes over this background. Okay, terrible lighting. Better? Worse? I don't know. Yeah. And then that's like the complete sticker. So yeah, so it's a commission for like some stickers for a yoga teacher up in San Francisco and a friend of mine. So I'm kind of stoked to see those in sticker form, but I have the original, so it's kind of like my life is I have like the originals of all this like stuff that exists in the world that I like never really had to get my hands on. But yeah, Owl Gang, yeah, but stickers, I know, but he did send me, I did some unicorn stickers for him a couple years ago, last year, no, not pandemic year before pandemic, so 2019, and I ended up with some of those unicorn stickers. That was fun. He like printed them on this like shiny like holographic sticker material. That was cool. There's a bunch of people in like Europe who had those stickers because it was for a conference. Maybe in Germany, Yogal. So you see a yoga sticker out there that looks like it's in that style, like, it's your girl. yeah. But Kai's here, so she's the one who told me. She said she could start printing out stickers for me. It's something that I've been like meaning to put up on my Etsy shop forever and ever, and I just haven't because I'm afraid of like putting in the money in the first place. To be honest with you guys, but yeah. Speaking of money, tips are really appreciated. They're not required, of course not, but they do make a difference for me in my life, in my real life. Oh, it won't let me type. Cool. There we go. Thanks, Bodhi. Literally, same moment. You're the best. You good. $5 gets you a private link to the class. And my eternal gratitude, no, I have eternal gratitude for all of you guys who show up. It was really cool. I love my weekends because, like, there's a bunch of people here and stuff. And there's just, like, more energy. I don't know. I feel like when there's, like, a lot of people in the room, even in, like, especially in real life, like, IRL studios, there's, like, a collective energy. So I don't have to put as much energy forward because there's some, like, reciprocation. And I think that some of that kind of exists in virtual life too. I don't know, maybe that's just imagined, but even if it's imagined, it still can have an effect, right? Placebo effect. Anyway, what I was saying is that $5 gets you a link to class or any of the classes that you ever miss, and it allows you to hit timestamps so you can get to your favorite part of class. So say you're just in the mood to ground down, or you just are trying to slow down at the end of your day, you just want Savasana, you can just hit the button there. You don't have to worry about scrolling through all of me talking about everything else in the world and just get to your favorite part of class. So I've been really appreciating and really benefiting from the tips that y'all have been sending me. Goes towards paying the electrical bills for all of these lights and the internet bills for all of this connection that worked today, which is great. Yesterday was a bummer when we got kicked. So today was an improvement. You guys doing anything fun for the weekend? Thinking probably raid. I mean, we can raid sets and reps. Someone raided me, so I feel like I should like pay it forward. I'm just Minecrafting. Cool, are you building something fun in Minecraft? Papa Mario, are you Genshin impacting? Is it just like a video game weekend? Oh, I'm practicing handstands. Ooh, okay, so I hope the wrist stuff that we did today works for you. Yeah, I'm weaving out and making a Japanese village. I love you. Yes, playing Genshin. Oh, man. I had to like set up my little PC again so that I can play too. I should probably do work because yesterday I was supposed to do work, but instead I went to the dog beach with one of my homies and we just played with our dogs and ate like raw vegan food, which is so expensive. It makes no sense. It doesn't not make sense. It's like organic or whatever, but I was just like, oh yeah, I remember being in the vegan world and just like everything was so much money. I'm going on a goat walk. A goat walk? Goat? Like sheep? But goats? I don't know why that was the comparison I had for that explanation. That sounds amazing. Is it like bar hopping, but you just go like from goat pen to goat pen? Because I'm about that life. I'm very about that life. Love it. Should we raid Mom Furious or Sets and Reps? What do you think? Goat yoga. I don't know about goat yoga. I feel like that would be terrible. Because it's like, as if yoga wasn't hard enough, like not being distracted, it's like, plus now we're adding adorable goats, which is like even more distraction. Plus they like poop on you, I imagine. Yeah, there's a goat farm nearby and they let you walk around with a goat. I want to do that. Did Mom make partner yet? Mom did not make partner yet. Should we go help him by raiding him? I really like him. I would like hang out with him and his girlfriend, like IRL. Then they would just bench press me. It'd be awesome. Alright. We're gonna raid Mum Fury's Fitness. The homie. And at one point we should get around to sets and reps. Or should we do sets and reps now? Iron, body weight, and bands. Ugh, you're right. We rated Mum last time. We'll probably raid him tomorrow. So let's okay. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna raid sets and reps. We're gonna go say hi to sets and reps. Sets and reps. Yeah, baby, that's the one. And we're just gonna go say hi and be friendly. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Why would we not be friendly? This is literally like the nicest group of people ever. I love you all so much. You know where you can reach me in the DMs and the IRL texting, and etc., etc., etc. I love you very much. Be here same time, same place tomorrow.